Hey everybody, I hope you are doing well. Amazing even. And if for whatever reason you're not in that frame of mind, then I certainly hope that coming to my channel and getting this new moon in Gemini reading I'm about to do for you will kind of shift the energy and get you on that track, all right? Because we want to be in that good space. This is, again, this new moon reading for Gemini. We have a new moon in Gemini today. I'm taping this on Saturday, June 17. And it's a pick a card. I know how you all feel about that. My regulars, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. You know that I do. And if you're new to my channel, I am an intuitive reader. Been doing this now almost 30 years. Finally got my nerve up to do it, to launch a YouTube channel about 3 years ago. Waited till I got, in my mature years to do it. And so I had to kind of work my nerve up, but I absolutely love it. I love your feedback, your comments. I read everything, I respond, because I do feel like part of what we're doing here on this platform is we're building community. We're all on a journey. We're all trying to live our best lives. We're trying to figure things out. We're trying to adjust to so many changes that we've all had to go through, especially over the past few years, with the pandemic. And so we're all, we're different people, different lives, but still I think this is a wonderful place for us to come together, globally as a community, spiritually, to try to, keep ourselves reaching for that amazing sort of state of mind, right? Keep ourselves on track, check in with our spirit guides. And so today, when I woke up this morning, I always do prayer and ask spirit, what's the framework for what I'm going to do for you? And today, what I got you all was, let me make sure I get it right. Got it. It's the question for you to hold in your heart is, what choice do you have? And the reason for that is, again, this is a new moon in Gemini. In tarot, Gemini is ruled by the Lovers card in the major arcana. And one of the things, we get kind of hyped up when we get the Lovers in a reading because, hey, why wouldn't you, right? The Lovers. But part of what the Lovers, the energy that it brings us is, thinking about Gemini, the twins, duality, and it is very often about choices and decisions that we have to make relative to our romantic life, our careers, our friendships, our relationships. There's that duality, there's you and there's the other. And how do you find that blend? How do you find that synergy to keep things, in balance and to have a win-win and a harmonious situation? So the question for today's pick a card, again, is what choice do you have? Keeping in mind the Lovers in tarot, all right? I have 3 stacks in front of me. For those of you who are familiar with my practice, I cleanse my decks, I pray over them, and I do the spreads before I start taping just to save a little time. But I am very ethical. I promise you, I have not seen a thing in front of me. So I interpret when I start taping, but just get the cards on the table so you don't sit there and watch me do a bunch of shuffling. All right, so I've got 3 stacks in front of me, you all. And to help you choose, I've pulled 3 pendants out of my jewelry box. So let's see what you're drawn to, all right? So for pile number 1, and again, hold this question close. What choice do you have? All right? Keeping in mind the Lovers in tarot, new moon in Gemini. All right? Pile number 1, it will be this green, I think it's called Uvarovite. I'll look it up before I post it, and I'll make sure I put it in the description, but green, all right? Really, it's the color that I'm going for that may ping you, all right? That's pile number 1. For pile number 2, it's a quartz crystal Merkaba stone. It's that geometric pattern, very powerful, sort of a energy disperser and collector, all right? So that's pile number 2, that quartz. And then for pile number 3, the pendant is the all-seeing eye, okay? And it's actually got 2 sides. I should show that to you in case it pings you anymore. All right, so that's pile number 3, the all-seeing eye, all right? Okay, you all, so let's go. No time like the present. What choice do you have? Let's see what Spirit says. All right, so let's go in. Pile number 1, those of you who were drawn to the green. And you may be drawn to more than one. It's not very often I get comments from people who say, I kind of went through one and then I went through another and I went through another, and there's something that you get from all 3 stacks. So if that's what you're feeling, part of the power and the beauty of a pick a card is it's about, I'm here to deliver the goods, but it's your guides, it's your intuition that draws you to the information that's going to benefit you the most. All right? Okay, so pile number 1, let's go. You have the 10 of Cups that comes with the Knight of Wands. And then I have a lot of oracles here. Let me get them all on the table, and then I'll show them to you and we'll talk about it. Okay. Ooh, this is interesting, you all. This is really interesting. Okay. Whoa. Woo-hoo. Okay, this is also for the grown and sexy. All right, just let me put that out there based on some of this energy that we're seeing. Okay, it's going to be definitely a over 21 or over 25. Nothing too graphic, but just I am seeing that energy. We'll get into it. All right. So a choice that you have right now, overall, pile number 1 is to see something true in yourselves. And it's true enough that you're willing to give up whatever is necessary in order to get you to the goal, in order to move you closer and move the needle towards the goal. That's the choice you have, is are you willing to give up? What are you willing to give up in order to get? Here's why I say that. I'm really drawn to these 2 cards. One is self-reflection, okay, and detoxify. It says full moon in Taurus. Taurus is about what we have, what we value. It is very much about beauty and the arts. It's about, the pleasures in life, especially pleasures of the senses, right? What you can taste, touch, smell, hear. It is very much about enjoying the experience of this life, all right? And all the things and all the pleasures, materially and otherwise, that life can bring you. But we have here detoxify with self-reflection. And that's what prompted me to go in that direction. The choice that you have, pile number 1, has very much to do with a period of not giving up material things necessarily, but readjusting your habits, making some decisions maybe relative to your health, making some decisions relative to what kinds of relationships, if this is around love, the lovers, if this is in the area of love. But the choice is making sure that whatever you do, that it does not add to any toxicity that you have been exposed to. And are you willing, in that self-reflection, are you willing to talking about Taurus, are you willing to take the proverbial bull by the horns and really get real with yourself and make whatever adjustments are necessary in order to detoxify? And when we say detoxification, we think often about, our diet and, doing cleanses and all of that. But, you can do a spiritual detox. You can, really work with yourself through journaling, meditation, other things where if you find yourself having, repetitive thoughts, negative self-talk, those things are toxic as well. And so think about how that detoxify applies to you. Now you have a fiery climax approaches. So the choice you have is to embrace that. Because whatever this is, that's got you, where you're going to have to make that choice to self-reflect and detoxify, it's because there is a climax to a situation that is approaching for you. Whatever accumulation of toxic energy, toxic thoughts, behaviors, patterns, even if it's toxic people around you, if you're in a work environment and you're being exposed to that, toxicity even in our news cycles, and a lot of the information that we're being fed on a daily basis, all of those things. So a climax approaches for you, pile number one. A fiery climax, no less, because this is it's represented by a full moon in Aries. So this is absolutely not a doubt that the choice, what choice do you have? Spirit is kind of, coming over your shoulder and saying, you have a choice, but like, you better hurry up and make it, because we might have to make one for you, right? Situations may change, things may start to shift, where if you don't voluntarily step up to that, some things can happen. Now, two things. One, what could be holding you up from making the choice, and the other is what will help push you in that direction. You have focus as being a challenge to help you make that choice. To help you know exactly it is time for me to self-reflect. It is time for me to sit myself down and make an assessment and detoxify my life. All right. But focus is coming up as a challenge. So perhaps and it also makes me think about that fiery climax approaches, because it could be like in the back of your mind, you've identified some of those things that need to change and that are toxic around you, or behaviors that you have that are toxic. You know it. You've identified it. You understand it. But the focus is making a concerted effort and making it a part of your daily routine, where you automatically shift your focus. And remembering too, new moons, you all, are that time of setting our intentions and our focus for what we want to attract, for how we want things to shift, to move towards our goals, to change our behaviors, etc., improve ourselves. So that's part of the benefit and the beauty of new moon energy. Now, focus. How are you going to focus? And have you been lackadaisical? I'll do it a little bit later. Oh yeah, I got to remember to do that. Yeah, I know, but... Okay. Now, what can help you with that, and a powerful aspect that maybe you didn't even recognize, is you have sex magic. That's why I was saying it earlier. This is for the grown and sexy. And it says, my power is between my thighs. Now, while this is a deeply feminine deck and energy, this is not gender specific. This basically is talking about sensual and sexual energy. Remember, you got that detoxify came full moon in Taurus. What did we say Taurus is about? It is about life's pleasures. And who can deny that one of life's greatest pleasures is physical intimacy, okay? There is power there. But I think what Spirit is saying in terms of what choice do you have? And this sex magic, I love it, is, are you willing to pay the price, quote unquote price, meaning to detoxify your life, to take the time to reflect, to set your focus and just buckle down and do what it is that I think you've already been thinking about doing, or it's kind of been on the back burner. But understanding that it is about, in this sexual magic or sex magic, my power is between my thighs. It is about a regenerative aspect. I'm getting images of like Kundalini, I'm even wearing my snake earrings today. It is about Kundalini energy. It is about an awareness that comes up from your sacral chakra, right? That area of sex and sensuality and pleasure. It is where you look at it for the benefits that you can, that it brings you, not just in terms of, boom, boom, bang, bang, right? But in terms of an energy force. Magic is the key word there. And you, from your sacral chakra, there is an energy force that can help you create. When we think about Kundalini energy, one of the reasons that people go through that process to unlock it is because, not just because it's going to necessarily improve or boost their sex lives, but because it can also improve creativity. It can improve vitality, even in the function and the cellular, makeup and renewal of the body. This is very regenerative for you, pile number one. And finally, your tarot is the Ten of Cups and the Knight of Wands. Because by making this choice, you understand now, the question was, what choice do I have? The choice that you have is to buckle down, do the reflection necessary, tighten up on your focus so that you can detoxify. Identify what needs to be detoxified. Identify what habits, people, situations, etc. And then focus exactly on how you're going to do it, because a climax to that energy is coming your way, pile number one. And then with this Knight of Wands and this Ten of Cups, Spirit is saying, if you do this, this is your payoff. Ten of Cups being a joyful time, being a situation where you are able to enjoy your home, especially with that Ten of Cups. It's a very domestic sort of energy. It's where you can enjoy life. You can enjoy what you've done. You can enjoy the hard work. You can enjoy the success of this process, this detoxification. You can enjoy the success of that. And the Knight of Wands is that creative flow. It goes back to what I was talking a moment ago about Kundalini energy in relation to your sacral chakra and creativity, because that's what that Knight of Wands does for you. Knight of Wands is that energy of can do. Sometimes it can be a little rash, a little reckless, a little, leap first and then look to see was there a hole or whatever, you know what I mean? Because there's enthusiasm, there's passion, there's a belief and a trust. I can make things happen. I'm going to get on my bike and I'm going to ride it, right? I'm going to rev up my engine and I'm going to get where I'm trying to go, come what may, all right? And Spirit is saying, that's cool. Because if you take care of what needs to get removed, whatever's toxic and needs to get removed, then of course you're ready to go. The road becomes clear. And there's that joy and that enjoyment that's waiting for you as a result of that. All right, pile number one. Beautiful, beautiful, and very powerful reading for you. So that's your choice. Are you, in order for you to have this Ten of Cups energy and have that Knight of Wands get on your bike and go for what's next and have those roads open up for you, leading to satisfaction and fulfillment and a sense of joy, a sense of I did it. Because remember too, detoxify again indicates that there's something that's piled up or piled up on you. It's taken a while. And so it's going to, that self-reflection is you taking the time to undo it, taking the time to remove it, taking the time to focus, buckle down and focus on exactly what it's going to take in order for you to do that. And there's your payoff, the Knight of Wands and the Ten of Cups once you do. All right, pile number one. Beautiful. Let me know what you thought. And I'm going to move on now to pile number two. Those of you who chose the Quartz Crystal Merkaba, I hope I'm saying that right. Somebody will correct me. Hit me in the comments. All right, it's that geometric energy power center. All right, pile number two. Let's go. So what choice do you have in relation, thinking about this new moon in Gemini and the Lovers? All right, that's going to help you. That's your challenge. Ooh, I love this. I love it all, That's why I do this. But I just, because as I told you, as I tell you guys, I don't see these cards. And so when I'm sitting here taping, it's like it hits me. Okay. Wow. All right. The choice that you have, if you chose this pile, is to stand in your power, to become who you are capable of being, to assert yourself, perhaps in new ways, or allow yourself permission to see the grandeur and the power that you hold. And if you've been holding back, that's the choice, is to hold back no longer. All right? I'm going to tell you why I see it, why I say that. You have be bold and make the first move. All right? So part of your choice is you may be someone who is very concerned about other people's feelings. Sometimes you may put other people's feelings and opinions ahead of your own. You may downplay yourself or step back a little bit for any number of reasons, because you enjoy other people and other people's perspectives, because you enjoy offering support to others. But be bold and make the first move with be real. You got it? And this, by the way, is a full moon in Aquarius. So this is you in relation to other people, which is why the choice that you may have to make or should make at this time, or what choice do you have? Let me put that was the way I framed the question, is to stand in your power and be the leader that you're meant to be. Being real and being bold and making the first move, because that's you stepping into a place that perhaps you haven't always felt comfortable. And the thing is, when we have power, when we are natural leaders, the flip side of that is, what if that leadership is not accepted? What if those ideas are not accepted? What if somebody tells us we're being too forward or too aggressive or too opinionated? You know what I mean? And so we tend to just dial it back a little bit. But for you all, pile number 2, Spirit is like, nope. Leave the past behind. Okay? Ooh, I realize I'm doing a little bit too much there. I don't want somebody flagging me. So, leave the past behind. Pile number 2. The past meaning any past behaviors. You know, what choice do you have? You have the choice to leave behind any false beliefs, limiting beliefs, any encounters, experiences that you may have had that fed into this notion of, I know that I'm capable of more. I know that I should have this leadership role. I know that I have great ideas and I have a lot of motivation. I have a lot of talent, skills that I've acquired, but somehow you find yourself in that more of a supportive role, and Spirit is saying the choice that you have is to leave the past behind and to really start to step into your power. Acceptance comes for you as well, pile number 2. Accepting your role as a leader. Afefe, why do you keep on and on and on about this leadership stuff? Because I was holding it for a moment. You have the Emperor. You have the Emperor, okay? Pile number 2, the Emperor, the quintessential visionary leader, the one who can take those ideas and build on them, the one who says, build it and they will come. And being that force of having the vision, having the idea, having the inspiration, having the determination to make things happen, to be heard, to be assertive, not overpowering, not belligerent, not too aggressive. Although, you know, we all know that the Emperor and some people who can come in that form of the Emperor, if they're a little tilted, you know, too full of themselves, they can often show up as an Emperor. But that's not what's happening in this reading for you all. This is a choice that you have to step into the power and the vision that you hold. Point blank, period. That is the choice that you have now. And you have noticed we had before that leave the past behind. Lo and behold, you also got that 8 of Cups. What does the 8 of Cups do? Move on and leaves the past behind, especially because it's Cups, especially when it is something that needs to be left behind relative to any kind of emotional turmoil. Sometimes you invest yourself in things, and this can even be, we think with emotions, it's always got to be something, some personal relationship. But it can also be the personal relationship that you have to your work, to your career, to your job, to your coworkers, your colleagues, to your boss, whomever. Okay? But this is the decision to move on because it's not satisfying you. There's some aspect of it that just isn't paying off. And so that's leaving the past behind, that Eight of Cups. All right? Confirmation there. Now, a challenge for you is beauty, and it comes as a mermaid. I think what Spirit is saying there for you, pile number 2, is for whatever reason, you may not feel, maybe you're just naturally humble. Maybe you have a lot of humility, and you have, what do you see when you look in the mirror? Do you see the beauty? And I'm not just talking about, your physical features. I'm talking about your soul. I'm talking about who you are, your character. What's really, they say your soul is in your eyes, right? What's really behind your eyes? And do you see the beauty in yourself? Because that is tied to, as well, this Emperor energy, standing in your power. You have the choice to begin to stand in your power. And part of what makes you do that is to begin to recognize and own your own beauty. Beauty in your character, beauty in your presence, beauty in your faith, beauty in your heart, beauty in your skills, and part of a tool that will help you make this choice and begin to step into your power and step into your beauty and your leadership is your intuition. My body is the oracle. Check that out. Okay? My body is the oracle. What do you see? Look how beautifully, different decks, you know how I do it. How amazing that you get my body is the oracle with this mermaid and beauty. It would be really helpful for you, I think, pile number 2, to go through some sort of purification involving water. Whether that's just being really intentional when you shower, when you cleanse, maybe periodically during the day. Just take a break and go to the restroom and get a washcloth and just refreshen your face, cool your face or your hands. There's something about water because of that mermaid energy with beauty. There's something about water as a reflection as well, right? We can look in water and see our reflection if we look into a pool of water. Because there's something about my body is the oracle. There's something about you beginning to see yourself in a different way. And as you do that, that's the choice that you have. You've got a choice to see yourself in a different way. You have a choice to leave the past behind so that you can see yourself a different way. And if you have undergone experiences where somehow your sense of self was diminished or was devalued, or something that you have had to get to that space of the Eight of Cups, or perhaps that is where Spirit is telling you, your guides are telling you, it's time for you to get there. It's time for you to leave the past behind and move on from that. Because all of this beauty in you is awaiting to emerge. And as it emerges, you become that leader, that boss. You level up. The choice that you have is to level up in your own life, in your own power, in your own sense of self-esteem, in your own beauty, and use your intuition, because that's, the Emperor has that vision. The Emperor says, I know, but I think I can see it being done this way. That's what you've got going for you. And all it's going to take, not all it's going to take, but it is a process, of course, but there is accepting that. Accepting, and I think also, not just accepting your power and recognizing your beauty, the beauty of your soul, everything that you've done, that you deserve to be a leader, you deserve to be heard, you deserve to be seen, but there's also acceptance of the past. That's how you leave the past behind, because you're able to put it in perspective. It happened, what's that saying? People say it all the time. I'm grateful for all of my experiences, even the tough stuff, because it made me who I am today. And who you are today is the choice that you're being offered. That is the choice during this new moon in Gemini, pile number 2, is understanding, really, really, really taking stock of who you are today, and understanding that it has positioned you to be heard, to be seen, to be felt, to be perhaps a teacher, to be a leader, to step into that project, to write that book, to create that art, to participate more openly in a class, or perhaps launch a class. Whatever that is, whatever your skills are and your qualities are, recognizing the beauty that you possess, the beauty in the work that you do, the beauty in your purpose in life. That's what gives you the spark to stand up and begin to rise into that leader, leave the past behind, and rise into the power and the leadership capabilities that you have. Pile number 2, okay? Awesome, 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 awesome reading. Let me know what you thought about that. I'd love to hear your comments and your feedback on that, all right? And finally, we're going to move on now to those of you who chose pile number 3, and that all-seeing eye, okay? All right, so what choice do you have, pile number 3, thinking about this new moon in Gemini, represented by the Lovers in Tarot? What choice do you have? Okay. Let's see here. Whew, okay. Very clear message. Let me take a moment and get my thoughts straight so I can get it right for you. Wow. I'm also understanding why you were drawn to this symbol, the all-seeing eye, based on this. Okay, let's go. I got it. First thing is a choice that you have is get out of your head, right? Which is really interesting because Gemini is that airy, it's an air sign. It is ruled by Mercury. So it is about chatting things up. It is about being super social, super engaged on social media, and what this says is talk less and feel more. Okay? Talk less and feel more, pile number 3. So there is that chatter that's going on, because what it does, I get it. You have here the shadow. This is your shadow self coming up in this reading, pile number 3. And what happens is, and the key word that it gives for this shadow is depth. What happens is sometimes when we get too busy in the chatter of day-to-day life, the chatter of social media, the chatter of Twitter and TikTok and whatever, that it takes us out of our heart, and it's almost like we're living more in our shadow, or in a shadow existence, because the space is not, we're not seeing clearly, we're not feeling, we're not operating from our heart. We're so busy engaged in our intellect, and just kind of going on autopilot, that we're operating in the shadows. And that depth is Spirit saying the choice that you have is to recognize the depth of your heart, the depth of your feelings, because feelings are really what move energy. When we talk, there are many schools of thought around the law of attraction and manifestation work, and almost without exception, the teachers will say one of the most vital and important components of doing that kind of work is coming from the space of feeling. It is not just what you think and visualize that you want and you're changing and you're moving, but it is what you feel in your soul, in your heart, with conviction. That feeling is what the universe responds to, those vibrations. And so that depth is waiting for you. Having that depth, recognizing that depth is what's waiting for you. and moving out of the shadows. Now, you have, interesting, you have death and you have nothing will come of this situation as an oracle. Let me hold those closer for you. Death with nothing will come of this situation. I'm feeling a definite connection between these two energies, these two cards, because what it says is it is time to end something. Something is coming, some cycle, something is coming to an end. Something needs to transition because there's a clear, crystal clear message there for you all. Nothing will come of this situation. Now, I am not, got to do that for entertainment purposes only, right? I am not encouraging anyone to make some sort of drastic change in their lives without really thinking things through and being ready for it. But we are talking about what choice do you have? And Spirit is saying in this reading, pile number 3, the choice that you have is to come to terms. And that's why you need to talk less and feel more, because in that shadow came for you, because this is going to be a process where you've got to, I don't know that you fully see it yet. And it's going to be a process that you have to go through to really see and call it out for what it is. Nothing will come of this situation. Have you reached that point where you're really seeing the truth of it? Or are you in that shadow aspect where you're it's foggy, you don't really see it, or you're holding back? It could be someone who isn't really good for you, a job, a situation, the way you're treating yourself. It could be a health concern. It could be, how you're walking in the world, and you know that you could do better. You know that you should do better, right? But you're busy. Tomorrow, right? Nothing will come of this situation, either being a specific person, thing that is going to go through or needs to go through. That's your choice to let it go through that transformation. Because the thing about death is that while it brings an ending or shift, it's because it makes way for what is next. It makes way for the next aspect, the next thing, the next relationship, the next job, the next journey, the next project, the next dietary change, right? Because what you stand to gain is peace, right? You make this change. You step out of the shadows. You get into your heart space. You make the choice to do that. And it brings peace. It brings peace. It brings peace because of the effort that you've made. 6 of Wands. This is effort. It is a card of victory. But it is hard-won victory. It is victory because you have made the choice. And you have recognized what needs. You've gotten in touch with your feelings enough. You've slowed your mind down enough. Meditation, pile number 3. We say it all the time. As a concept, it always sounds wonderful. But sometimes unless you are really into meditation and unless you have a regular schedule around it, it can become one of those things where the chatter starts and, okay, I'll do it later. Or maybe you are gung-ho and, you get inspired to get into that space, that meditative space, 10, 15 minutes a day for a period of time. And then life starts to take over. And before you know it, it's like, oof, I haven't done that in a while. I've gotten off my grind in that way. It's time to go back because there's your peace. That's what you get from it is peace. Now, a challenge for you. I think you're busy. You have, and I can't even pronounce this, Mormolkea. I am drawn to read. I haven't done that in any of the other piles, but because I'm drawn to, I want to understand what this energy is. The key word beneath it is service. I wonder if one of the reasons why, that talk less, feel more, and why you're so busy, there is a lot of chatter around you because you are busy. There's service. Maybe you are in service to others. Maybe you are someone who others turns to. And it keeps you occupied in that space of other people's needs, other people's stuff. And but what it does is it pushes out the time that you need for yourself. Service for you can be both a blessing. I don't use that CURSE word. I don't like it. I mean, I will if I have to, but we're not going to do that right now. I'm not calling that energy in. I would call it a challenge. It can be a blessing or a challenge because you want to be of service to one another. I do these readings as a service to the larger whole. It's a gift that I have. It's a talent and a skill that I have, and my ancestors, my spirit guides, they got their hand at my back like, yes, girl, get out there and do what we told you to do. So that is my service. But there's also that balance. And I think for some of you, perhaps when you see yourself in that role of providing a service or being of service, it can be all consuming. I just want to see what this Mormon, hold that up for you again. Let me look at that. That's pretty fierce there. Let's see what that says. Number 22. All right. It says here, service does not mean servitude. Service should not be blind or bind you. That's what we were just talking about, right? So do not give your time to people who do not appreciate you. Justice will be done. Boom. That's exactly what we were talking about. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you for that confirmation. Because that's part of the challenge for you, pile number 3, is clearly you have a great heart and you want to be of service, perhaps professionally. That is something that you've done. And even, we think about service industries or service caregivers, in the medical field or other therapies, but it is also a service when you are, creating art. You are providing a service to people to appreciate that art, to incorporate that energy in their lives. Service comes in all forms, so don't limit it. Don't feel like you got to be boxed in with it. And what will help you in adapting to this and figuring out what needs to go. Nothing will come of this situation. What the choice that you are being given, what is your choice? What is the choice that's being offered to you during this new moon in Gemini with its lover's energy, that duality? It is because you want your peace. Let peace be a motivating factor for you, pile number 3, and get into your heart. Your heart is what will bring the peace. The feeling part of you is what will bring the peace. And it says, Akashic connection, I easily access my soul's wisdom. Okay? I easily access my soul's wisdom. Because your soul knows how to get you to this point of peace. And it knows that all of this busy work, all of this, chatter. I just keep going back to chatter. That's how I feel, pile number 3. There's just so much chatter around you, or chatter that you've been exposed to, that it's disrupted the natural flow of your heart space and you flowing from a space of feeling and desire and confidence and joy. I easily access my soul's wisdom. If you have been off track and you've been really doubting, questioning, confused, not knowing which way to go, it's because you have gotten off track from your soul's wisdom, and it's saying nothing will come of that situation if you continue down that path. So in order for you to change, you've got to talk less, feel more, and get yourself on that, whatever methods that you've been using to motivate you, that 6 of Wands, that fire, light your candles, say your prayers, do your meditation, do the things that bring you peace. And maybe that's not even sitting in quiet stillness. I meditate with music very often as well. Music is a thing for me, and perhaps for you as well. So do the thing that puts you in that state, whether it is straight up and down meditation or something else, but it puts you in that state of mind. That's your goal. Because if you're in this state of mind, you can tune it out, right? All right, that's your choice. That's where you're headed. And by doing this, by making the choice to let go of what's no longer serving. Nothing will come of this situation. So stop letting people use your energy. That's what we saw with that challenge card, the service. You know, stop. If people are not reciprocating, if they're not appreciating your work, your efforts, then that's it. Nothing comes of this situation. You can't keep feeding into, you know, the wind. If the wind is not carrying your service, your effort, your energy to the place that it's intended, where it really can take root and grow. You don't want to spin your wheels that way. And so that death, I'm going to pull one more tarot for you to clarify that death card, pile number 3. But it's really, what I'm seeing for you is the choice is to recognize what is and what is not working, and to recognize that your peace should take precedence over any and everything, because your peace is what then fuels you to be able to do the things that you want to do in your life, even if that is to be of service. But it's serving in a way that it should be reciprocal. You know, when you all leave me comments in you know, in the comment section after I do these readings, I can't tell you how much that means to me. And it fuels me and motivates me to keep going. We all need that. That's something that you need, pile number 3. And you have the 5 of Wands. I got it. That came to clarify death. It's an ending of the conflict around you. And it could even be within you. It could be the ending of an internal conflict that you've been having around, I want to be of service, but in doing it, it takes so much from me. It drains me. How I am supporting my family, supporting my friends, supporting my lover, supporting, you know, people in my job or function, it's draining. And so accessing your soul's wisdom puts you in a different place. It takes care of that 5 of Wands and moves it on to the 6 of Wands. That progression from being a challenge to being victorious. From feeling like you got to take, you know, you're having things coming at you from all directions, and sometimes to the point of being angry or overwhelmed, to I'm going to do these things to move myself forward. I'm making a conscious decision to silence some of this noise so that I can get into this space of peace. That's the choice. I choose peace. Okay? All right, pile number 3. I hope you enjoyed that reading. I wish you the absolute best in absorbing, excuse me, everything that you need and is intended for you to elevate you during this new moon in Gemini. And I will talk to you real soon. Take care of yourself. Bye.